There are moments in life when everything stops. Moments when one accident, one twist of fate, changes everything you ever believed about yourself. I was 21. Young, full of dreams, a model, a singer, an artist, a woman who thought she had control over her destiny. Until that night, the car hit the barrier. It flipped, and in a moment, my world shattered. They told me I would never walk again. They told me I'd never be the same woman again. They told me, your life is over. But you know what? Sometimes when life breaks you, it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's where real strength is born. As I lay on that hospital bed, I realized everything I loved was taken. My body, my dreams, my future, but not my spirit. When you lose everything, you begin to see what really matters. And that day, I made a choice to rise again. Not because it was easy, but because I refused to die while I was still alive. Pain became my teacher. Loneliness became my companion. And hope, my only weapon, because life doesn't end when you fall. It begins when you decide to get up, even if you have to crawl. People said, Muniba, you're broken. Yes, I was broken, but beautifully broken. You see, scars are not signs of weakness. They're the proof that you survived. They're the marks of a warrior who refused to give up. Society has its definitions of beauty. Perfect skin, perfect body, perfect smile. But what about a perfect heart? What about a beautiful soul that refuses to stop shining even in darkness? When I looked in the mirror, I saw someone new. Not the woman who had everything, but the woman who had lost it all and was still standing. That is real beauty. That is real power. So to every woman, every man watching this, don't let the world define you. Don't let your wheelchair, your scars, your struggles define who you are. Because the most beautiful people in the world are the ones who have known defeat, known pain, known loss, and yet found their way out of the depths. You are not your wounds. You are your will to rise beyond them. Acceptance, the hardest lesson of all. It took me years to say, yes, this is me now. But when I did, everything changed. The moment you stop fighting against your reality, you open space for miracles. I accepted that I may never walk again. But I also decided, if I can't walk, I will fly with my words. If I can't dance, I will paint with my soul. If I can't move freely, I will move hearts. That's how you adapt. That's how you rise. Every time life limits you, it's showing you a new way to express your power. I started painting again. Not with my hands, but with my heart. I started speaking, to share my pain, to heal others. And the world listened. Because when you speak from the heart, you touch hearts. So today, don't run away from your pain. Hold it, learn from it. Let it become your strength. We all suffer. But suffering becomes strength when you give it meaning. I found my purpose in my pain. To inspire, to empower, to remind the world, you can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Purpose doesn't come from perfection. It comes from brokenness made beautiful. Your story has power. Your scars can light the path for someone else lost in darkness. So if you are struggling right now, don't hide your pain. Use it, speak it, share it. Because your voice can heal someone else's silence. I believe God breaks you, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you stronger than before. And when you rise again, you'll understand why the fall was necessary. There was a time when nights felt endless, when I used to lie awake staring at the ceiling asking, why me? Why did this happen? Why did life take everything I loved? And then one night, I changed the question. Instead of why me, I asked, what now? That moment changed everything, because pain doesn't destroy you. It transforms you when you let it. You see, darkness is not your enemy. It's your test. It's where you learn to see your own light. When everything fades, fame, beauty, strength, the only thing that remains is your faith. Faith that God still has a plan. Faith that tomorrow can still be brighter. Faith that no matter how deep the pain, your purpose is deeper. In that darkness, I found my soul. In that silence, I found my strength. And I realized something powerful. You don't need to be whole to shine. You just need to be willing. Even a shattered mirror reflects light. Even a broken soul can change the world. So, my friend, stop waiting for a perfect moment. Start creating light right where you are. Because sometimes, the most beautiful sunrise comes after the darkest night. There's something miraculous about gratitude. It changes how you see everything. I used to focus on everything I lost. My legs, my freedom, my dreams. But one day I looked around and realized I still had breath. I still had my voice. I still had a chance to make a difference. And that was enough. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring your pain. It means choosing to see blessings even in brokenness. When you start counting what's left instead of what's lost, your whole world changes. I was in a wheelchair, but I was alive. And that meant I still had purpose. Every morning, I began to thank God for the sunrise, for my mother's smile, for the chance to inspire just one heart today. That's how miracles start. Not in grand gestures, but in grateful hearts. So, if you're watching this right now, stop scrolling for a second. Take a deep breath and whisper, "Thank you." Because gratitude turns pain into power and ordinary moments into divine gifts. For years, I hated the person in the mirror. I saw my scars, my chair, my limits. But one day, I looked deeper and saw a warrior staring back. Self-love is not about arrogance. It's about acceptance. It's saying, "This is who I am, and that's enough." When you start loving yourself, you stop begging for validation. You stop apologizing for existing. You begin to realize you are not incomplete. You are extraordinary in your own design. The world will always have opinions. Some will admire you. Some will pity you. But you must stand in your truth, because confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from peace. So, love your scars. Love your voice. Love your story. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to become. And when you start seeing yourself as enough, you give permission to others to do the same. People often ask me, "Muniba, don't you miss walking?" And I smile, because even though my body doesn't move, my spirit flies higher than ever. Fear used to whisper, "You can't." Now I whisper back, "Watch me, you see." Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to rise anyway. Every time I roll onto a stage, I carry millions of stories with me. Stories of those who gave up too soon, and those who fought back harder. I am here for them. For every broken dream that can still be reborn. For every wounded soul that can still heal. And I want to leave you with this. You don't need wings to fly. You just need faith strong enough to lift you. Because I'm not my wheelchair. I'm my wings, and so are you. Rise again. Shine again. Live again. Because broken wings still fly. And they fly higher than ever before. Life doesn't always need to change. Sometimes you need to. The world looks different when you stop seeing through pain and start seeing through purpose. When I was in the hospital, I used to stare at people walking by, feeling envy. Until one day I thought, they have legs, but many of them have no direction. And I realized, it's not about walking, it's about moving forward. Everyone is fighting something invisible. Maybe you're not in a wheelchair, but maybe your soul feels paralyzed by fear, doubt, regret. So what's stopping you? Not your circumstances, your perspective. If you can't change your situation, change the way you see it. Pain is not punishment. It's preparation. Disappointment is not denial. It's redirection. Loss is not the end. It's a new beginning. I once prayed for strength, and God gave me challenges to make me stronger. I prayed for courage, and He gave me fear to overcome. I prayed for freedom, and He gave me acceptance to find peace within myself. Perspective turns misery into meaning. And when you change how you look at life, life changes how it looks at you. Do you know the most powerful thing about your story? It's yours. No one else has lived it. No one else can tell it like you can. We live in a world full of noise, but truth still whispers the loudest. I never planned to be a motivational speaker. I just wanted to share my pain so that someone, somewhere, would feel less alone. And that's the secret. You don't inspire people by being perfect. You inspire them by being real. So tell your story. Talk about your failures. Talk about your fears. Talk about how you kept going when you had every reason to quit, because your scars are someone else's survival guide. Maybe your story won't go viral, but maybe it will save a life. So today, I want you to promise yourself that you'll never hide your light again. You were not born to blend in. You were born to shine. And every chapter of your life has a reason. The pain, the joy, the waiting, all of it is part of a bigger plan. When I was lying in that hospital bed, I thought God had abandoned me. But now I see, He was just rewriting my destiny. You see, delay is not denial. Sometimes the waiting is the blessing. We want things fast. We want answers now. But God says, I'm preparing you for what you've been praying for. If you got everything too early, you wouldn't value it. So if your dream feels distant, don't lose faith. Because every setback is secretly setting you up for something extraordinary. I learned to trust the timing of my life, to let go of control, to let God paint the picture, even when I couldn't see the colors yet. And now, when I look back, I realize the same pain that broke me was the reason millions heard my voice. Faith doesn't mean life gets easy. It means you stop fighting the waves and start trusting the ocean. Pam, so here we are, years later. The same woman who was told she'd never walk now stands tall, in spirit, before the world. I may be sitting, but my soul is standing taller than ever. Because when you rise above your pain, you don't just heal yourself, you heal generations watching you. Somewhere out there, a little girl will see this video and think, if she can, I can, and that's why I speak. That's why I smiled. That's why I never gave up. Because I believe when you light one candle of hope, you can set the whole world on fire. So today, promise yourself, you will not quit. You will not surrender. You will rise again. Not because life is easy, but because you are strong enough to make it meaningful. Remember, broken wings still fly, and the sky is wide enough for all of us. Keep flying, keep believing, keep shining, because your story is not over. It's only just begun. I am not my wheelchair. I am my wings. Muniba Mazari.
Starting over. It's something we all fear. We think, what if I fail again? But have you ever thought, what if I fly this time? Every sunrise is proof that life gives you another chance to breathe, to grow, to love, to begin again. I had to start over from nothing, learning how to move again, learning how to smile again, learning how to live again. It wasn't easy. Some days, my tears spoke louder than my words. But every day I made one choice. Progress over perfection. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to have faith in your next step. Remember, you are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. Every failure you faced, every heartbreak you survived, every no you heard, they were all lessons preparing you for your yes. So don't be afraid to start again. This time you're not starting from zero. You're starting from wisdom, and wisdom is worth more than anything the world could ever give. The world doesn't need more powerful people. It needs kind people. When I began speaking, I thought success meant being seen. But now I know. Success means seeing others. You never know what someone is going through behind their smile. So, be gentle, be kind, be the reason someone believes in humanity again. Compassion doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Sometimes healing doesn't come from medicine. It comes from a hug, from a word, from knowing someone still cares. If you want to change the world, don't wait for big moments. Start with small kindnesses, a smile, a helping hand, a heart that listens. Because when you heal others, you heal yourself too, and one day you'll realize your purpose was never about fame or success. It was about love. There's something I've learned through every storm. The story is never over until you decide it is. Life will give you moments where you'll want to give up, but giving up doesn't end the pain. It ends your progress. Keep going, even if it's slow, even if no one understands, because every page you turn, every scar you carry, every step you take, is part of a masterpiece still being written. Don't compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Your story has its own timing, its own purpose. And remember, sometimes God hides you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are becoming. So keep writing, keep believing, keep living, because one day, your story will be someone's reason to hope again. Before I leave you today, I want to tell you something the world forgets to say. You are enough, not when you get that job, not when you lose that weight, not when you achieve that dream, but right now, as you are. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are blooming. You are not too late. You are right on time. Your value is not measured by how fast you move, but by how deeply you live. So, breathe, smile, trust the process, because no matter what life took from you, it can never take your spirit. You still have a voice. You still have a heart. You still have purpose. And as long as you have purpose, you have everything. You don't need wings to fly. You just need faith strong enough to lift you. So rise, shine, and remember, you are enough. Always have been, always will be.